Hi everybody, welcome to the LillyPillyStitches studio vlogs. I can't remember which one this is, number 3, I can't remember. I'll put it down below. Anyway, I'm coming to you from sunny Brisbane in Queensland, Australia. My name's Lisa and I'm the designer behind LillyPillyStitches. You can find me on Etsy as LillyPillyStitches, on Instagram as LillyPillyStitches, or my personal Instagram is Lisalovesstitchin. And I have a LillyPillyStitches Facebook page if you're interested in following there. I'll put all the details below. As well, if you click on the About on my profile here, you can also find my details there on how to contact me. So, it's been a long 2 weeks, or has it been a bit more? I would have liked to have had a video uploaded already this morning, but the last 2 weeks have just been really stressful with our dog, Sooty, being sick. Yeah, so I'll get into that a bit later. I have a fully finished framed object to share with you today, cross stitch. I have some new starts and some whips, both cross stitch and knitting. So, and some acquisitions. So let's get into it. So as I have a framed piece of cross stitch to show you, I'll start with the cross stitch first. So I'll show you that and then we'll go into what I've been working on, and then I'll show you my knitting. So this piece was my first reproduction sampler I have ever stitched, second only sampler I had ever stitched, and I started this at the Linen and Threads needlework retreat in 2019. What was it, February 2019? And that was with Karen and Brendan, who are now Fox and Rabbit Designs. And they used to run retreats all the time. So I did the needlework retreat, and this is a Fox and Rabbit Designs reproduction sampler, and it's Margaret McNown's 1828, and it's done with the Weeks Dye Works called for threads and the fabric, which was part of the kit when I came to the retreat. And I've had this framed. This is done on 32 count linen, and I had this framed by oh my god, what, my brain is not working this week, I'm so tired. Keynote Framing at Everton Hills near me, so definitely can recommend Keynote Framing. They do all of my framing and I'm always happy with it. If you can hear some rustling, it's Paris making a bed under my desk, and Sooty's just sitting looking morose on the floor next to me here. So I chose originally a gold frame with an inner frame that's red, but they had trouble sourcing it from overseas. The supply was hard to get. So it's a gold frame, but it's got like as if they've had it painted red and then it's been brushed with gold paint and sort of rubbed off in places so the red comes through, and then a red inner frame which brings out the reds in this piece. This sampler has, you were meant to do on the big letters, you were meant to do like eyelet stitches, but I just did cross stitch because at the time that's where my skill level was, and that's perfectly okay. And then there's satin stitch darning samples down the bottom, which were tricky, but I really enjoyed doing them, and they're a bit winky wonky, but that's part of the learning process, isn't it? So without further ado, and sorry for any reflection because I didn't get the museum glass, here is my framed piece. So I can't get it all in because it's quite tall. There we go, quite tall. And I'll just see if I can Sorry, you're seeing the reflection there, but hopefully you can see it a bit better there. I put a picture on Instagram. And here's the satin stitch. I started off okay, but as I got more complicated, over here I got a bit more winky wonky. And then it has this lovely piece down the bottom with the flowers, which was actually a separate pattern. It's part of this sampler, but there was also a separate pattern under Karen's original cross stitch label, and it had the Margaret McNown's sewing tray, and it had like patterns that were similar to these flowers down the bottom that would be like as if she had a little sewing tray with her measuring tape and whatnot. So yeah, so that's my framed piece. You can see this edge on the gold with the red coming through. So I really enjoyed it. I like the colours. So I've got that hanging on my wall. I want to make a sampler wall in here. But yeah, really happy with that. That took me till, I didn't finish that till 2020, mid-2020. I finished that piece. But I really liked it. I really liked the chain on the edge and everything. Yeah, it was just really nice because it was one of those ones where there was, you didn't get too bored with the letters because there was different colours in the letters. And then in between different rows, there was different stitches, like it wasn't just straight, like there was this one with back stitching here, so that was fun. It looks a bit winky wonky, but that's okay. So yeah, so you had a bit of variety in what you were stitching. So yeah, so I'm really happy with that. Hope it doesn't fall. And I have some beautiful labels floating around somewhere. Actually, I think like these that I got off Number 12 Stitch Co. when I've done orders. So I'll have to, I've got some, I bought some more double-sided Scotch tape so I can add that to the back of the frame so we know what the details are. Okay, so let's have a look briefly at my diary, stitch diary. So I didn't write a lot in there last month, and I haven't added any extra stickers. And see, this morning I added some stickers here to this page for, we've got what do you call it? St. Patrick's Day coming up, so that's that. So what have I been working on? I have done some more on Sweet Dreams, just a little bit more because I got the threads I needed, the DMC, from Daisy Chain Stitchery. And this is the Lavender and Lace Sweet Dreams pattern that I'm stitching on this Jay's Cross Stitch. I think it's 36 count. It's either 36, I think it's 36 or 40 count linen in a lemon butter colorway. And it's really, really pretty. But as you've seen before, if you're not new and you've seen this before, it's very, very subtle because this is the gown from the baby, like a christening gown or a shawl or blanket. And I finally got this thread, which is actually a really soft grey lavender, and it's really pretty. What is it? It's this one, DMC 3341 or something. So now you can see some of those patterns that are in the bottom of the shawl here, which means that once I've finished them, I can just potato chippy fill in the cream stitching in amongst here. So that'll be nice to have just some easy stuff to do. And it is frustrating doing very similar colours on a similar background, but once that's done and it's surrounded by the lady's dress and everything, it'll look really good. But I'm looking forward to getting to her dress because that'll be a bit more less colour changes and just straightforward, so that'll be good. So that's what I'm working on that one. I better put that back in its bag. Then did I do more on this one? This is the Dimensions European Bistro, and I've been working on this table here with the bottle. Just see, I don't know if I showed you this, but I'll show you again, and sorry, it'll only take a second, and if you've seen it before, just ignore it. But yeah, so this is the window going down. I've put the little green bottle in, and I've just been working on the shading in here for the tablecloth on the table. So yeah, really enjoying this project, especially, although I do find working, because some of the threads is like 3 or 4 strands you've got to hold, and pulling it through the Aida is really hard work. But other than that, it's kind of good because it is bigger. It's the Aida, 14 count Aida. What is it? 14 count Aida. So really, you know, no strain on the eyes or anything like that, which is good, because the next one I'm going to show you does my head in, because I have to do it in my office here because it's 46 count. Decrepit by number 12 Stitch Co. So this is my own design, and I just released it this week. So if you want to stitch this yourself, you can tailor it to whatever you want. You don't have to have Stitch Camp 2023. You could just move the Stitch Camp over and just have that in, or you can put the date 2023, because it doesn't matter, it can be the year that you're stitching it. So this is the design I did for the retreat I'm going to, which is a Stitch Camp at Glen Innes in May, with Karen and Bren host as the guest designers. And so I'm making this as my small, that's why I'm doing it on 46 count linen. And I just wanted to do something that evoked a stitch camp, which is a row of tents, needle and thread, sitting around the campfire stitching. Hopefully you bring your wireless daylight lamp so that you can stitch under the moonlight. Yeah, and just surrounded by trees. So I'm really enjoying stitching on this. The coloured tents are really cute, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So this is 46 count Decrepit by Nicola, or is it Nicola, of number 12 Stitch Co. And this fabric is just perfect for this pattern. I love the staining in the fabric, and we've got the moon here and a star, and there'll be more stars coming over, and I've started doing some trees, but I've got to come back and do the trunks. And then we've got 3 tents. So the next thing is Stitch Camp 2023, then the needle and thread and the campfire, and then another row of tents and trees. And yeah, so it's not going to be probably longer than that. And then what I want to do to finish it is turn it into a rustic little hanging, and get a stick from outside and stick some twine onto it to make it into a little wall hanging. So whoever gets it can hang it on their wall, but it looks like it's from the cabin. So it's got that theme. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. You can stitch this too if you like. I mean, you don't have to stitch the whole lot. You could just stitch this with a little campfire and another row of trees, and that would look cute as well. So that's in my Etsy shop, available now for PDF download. And it's just DMC thread. I think... there's 19 colours, but you could use stuff from your stash, as I always suggest for my charts. You don't have to use what I've chosen, you know. I mean, tents are any colour, you can have a tent. So you can put anything you've got in your stash. You don't have to buy all new threads. So that's that project. I also released a bee skip, bee themed little small, which I have for a special price of less than $2 in my Etsy shop for PDF download. So go and check that one out. I'll try and put a picture here. And that's in my Etsy shop now. Okay, so next is, that's all the, I just feel like I'm forgetting something. That's all the cross stitch that I've been working on. Now we're going to get into knitting, and then at the end I'll show you some cross stitch acquisitions that I have received. So, new start. I don't have any knitting FOs to share with you this week. New start is using this beautiful Vivacious 4-ply Fibre Spates yarn, 4-ply, fingering weight, in the Copper Tones colourway. And it doesn't quite do it justice here, but it's a really rich brown with coppery sort of highlights, and then in amongst it, it does have like a dirtier, muddier brown in there, sort of like your hot chocolate colour. And it's just gorgeous. Beautiful and soft. And yeah, oops, I've got some thread stuck to that. Yeah, just really, really beautiful soft yarn, nice to work with, not splitty. Yeah, really nice to knit with. So I had planned, I bought 4 skeins of this yarn in plans to make a crop sweater with it, because I was thinking of the love note. But then I would have had to go and buy another 4, like more yarn, because I would need to pair it with mohair. And then I was trying to find the right mohair, and I couldn't find the right colour. And it's just really hard to get mohair here. And it's expensive. So anyway, so I had it aside, and I hadn't, you know, I thought I'll have to save up to get that yarn. And then I was watching Anna on the Brook Willow Knits podcast, so check her out if you haven't watched her before. She's really cool. And she was wanting to knit a vest to add to her wardrobe, so that she could put over like a layering piece over tops and with jeans, like a long sleeve shirt and jeans, or with a dress or something like that, for the spring autumn weather. And I said to myself, ooh, I would really love a vest. And I've got that sweater quantity of yarn, and I don't even need as much, because and I don't need to buy extra yarn for it, because I can look for a fingering weight pattern on Ravelry. And so she's doing a make along. It only started on the 1st of March, so still time to get in, and it's running till the end of April. But you know, you can go longer, it doesn't matter. It's just she's got a prize at the end if you go in if you finish in time. And she's doing it on Ravelry and also Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you can tag Vest Friends Mal, M-A-L, or you can look up Anna. She has a forum set up for that on Ravelry, where you can post your FOs. But yeah, it's just to pick a vest. So I had a look on Ravelry, and there was some really lovely vests for fingering weight. And the one I ended up going with was the Virginia top by Johi Locatelli. and I'll just show you the picture. That's it there. She's wearing it over a dress. And I don't know if you can see there, it has this really, sorry, there's a bit of water got on that. It has this beautiful like moth pattern going up, like lace wing pattern going up the front and back of the vest. And it has, the sleeves have an I-cord edge, so no ribbing. And I thought, oh, that's just really cute. I like that. I like the detail. I'll just see, there's other pictures here. I'll see if I can get a close-up. That's another picture with, she's wearing it with a long sleeve top and jeans. Probably won't look as good on me if I ever manage to finish it. I'm just seeing if this, yeah, this is a closer up picture. And you can see that pattern in there, the lace pattern with the texture in between. So I really liked it. So I started it on Friday 4 times, had a meltdown Friday night, and because I'd stuffed it up again, and then I was like, that's it, I'm not stitching it, I'll find another pattern. And I found another pattern, and I bought another pattern, and then I downloaded it, and then I had to do a long tail cast on of like 300 plus stitches, and I got nearly to the end of casting on, and I realised that I didn't have enough yarn, because long tail cast on you have to guesstimate how much yarn you're going to need to cast on. And so I was like, I'm going to bed, that's it, I've had enough. Anyway, the next morning I was feeling a bit more fresh and my brain was awake. So I had already knit the swatch for the Virginia top by this time. So I decided to persevere and restart again and just take it step by step, because I was a bit overwhelmed, because the pattern says it's seamless top down with not much finishing, but the fact is you have to start with the hard bit first, and it's not seamless at first. So you have to, it's a great pattern, but it's above my skill level, my current skill level with knitting. So you have to start the front back shoulder, what is it? The left back shoulder and the right back shoulder, and do a provisional cast on with a crochet hook, and then put stitches on hold, and then start the other shoulder, and then add stitches on, and then join it all up together. So I was feeling like, whoo, it's all, and in between you got to go from the pattern for the shoulder with the shaping, and then flick, and then it goes, go to the lace pattern and stitch the lace for this section. So then you got to quickly flip to that section, and then keep track of 2 patterns effectively at once of where you're up to, what row. So that was a bit stressful at first, but I've printed it out and I'm just marking it off, like LB for left back, RB for right back for the shoulders on the lace pattern, so I know where I'm up to. And yeah. And what I did to make it easier was I added some little tabs of washi tape so that I could quickly find the pages that I needed to flick between. So anyway, so I've done the 2 shoulder with the shaping. Now I need to sort of do the section where it joins them up, and then at the same time it gets more complicated. Then once I've done a bit of that, and I think you've got to do the front as well, then you've got to do the shaping for the neckline at the same time as the shaping for the arm hole. But anyway, I'm just taking it a step at a time. So I've got 2 sections done, and we'll see how I go. So the gauge swatch was pretty much on gauge. So this is the fabric it made, which I thought was really nice, not too see-through, but nice and light. And it's got, that's that textured pattern that will be in between the lace. And I think it's going to be really nice. I love the colour. It's coming out really lovely. So that's my little swatch. I'm keeping that because I can unravel it if I find I need extra yarn. So that's my swatch, and just to show you, was using a 4mm hook. So my needles are 3.5mm, but I used a 4mm hook for the provisional cast on so it wouldn't be too tight. So if you're a tight knitter, you can always cast on with a bigger needle and then switch to the correct size needle to do your knitting. And that way it doesn't get too tight and unmanageable. So this is what I've done for the left back shoulder. So it's got the shaping here for the neckline. And then a little bit of the lace pattern. And this different coloured yarn is the crochet provisional cast on. And yeah, so this, and then it has the texture in between. So this crochet cast on, what you do is you start to pull it undone and you thread your needle through the right leg of all of the stitches, and I put a knot in the end. That's this side is the one I have to start on this end, and you put your needle through the right leg, and then you can just unravel that crochet, and it will just unravel and you'll have your stitches on your needle and you can keep knitting. So that's what that's for. And then this is the right back shoulder that's got a provisional cast on, plus it's got waste yarn that it's sitting on. So these stitches are held on waste yarn, so I can run my needle through that when I need to pick them up. And then the provisional cast on. So what happens is once you've done and joined the front, or the back, sorry, the back, then once you've done so far down the back, you come round and pick up your stitches with your provisional cast on at the front, work your front panels, and then you join under the arms in the round, and then it'll be smooth sailing hopefully from then on, because you're just going straight down in the pattern with the lace and the texture, and then when you get to the bottom you're doing your ribbing and it's all done. That's it. So I don't know if I'm imagining, I haven't started, it hasn't got it in the pattern yet to do the I-cord edge for the armhole, so I don't know about that one, but anyway, I'm following it. That's what I'm doing. I think it's going to look great if I actually succeed. And I've just got this in my bag that I made at Christmas time, and yeah, really love that. So that's that pattern. Wish me luck. Oh, forgot to put the pattern back in there. I better do that, otherwise I'll lose it, because I know what I'm like. Hopeless. So the next knitting thing that I started, and I'm going to frog it, and I'm just going to do a lace shawl, crochet lace shawl with this yarn. It's this beautiful Malabrigo Manos lace, our baby alpaca silk and cashmere, in the colour Risa, Raisa, Manos del Uruguay. And this is just so like a cloud. It's really soft, obviously, because it's got cashmere in it and it's got these beautiful pinks and mauves. So this is 2-ply lace, and I was going to do a lent shawl, so I did a swatch, because the lent shawl's actually meant to be in, not lent shawl. I was joining a knit along for the Lent scarf hosted by the Victoria Methodist Bristol Knit Along group, which is based in the UK in Bristol. And this is the swatch in DK weight yarn, but I will never use a scarf that's this heavy much, because Brisbane doesn't get that cold. Really love this tree. I might use this as a mug rug. So yeah, so I did that, and then I thought, ooh, I've got lace weight. I could just do lace weight. And it was okay, but it was going to take me forever, because obviously lace is much thinner. It's going to going to have to knit like 10 times as much to make it work. And it's only thin. I thought I could just have this little thin scarf thing, like a little necklace almost. Anyway, it started out good. And I don't know if you can see it there with the variegation, but it's a little fat dove. There's the beak that way and the tail. Anyway, it was a dove. And then it has these wrap stitches, which on here on DK weight looks great. I did them perfect. No pulling. Looks great. Was super loose and careful with this one, but because it's lace, it just naturally pulled. And it's left, like, you can see it's pulled tight there, even though I had it loosey-goosey. And sorry about my burn on my finger there. And it's left little holes. And I wasn't feeling it. And I'm like, there we go, I've ripped it off. It's gone. So I'm just going to do a lace shawl in crochet, which I already have a pattern for. I used to crochet lots of shawls in lace. So I'm just going to unravel it and put that aside, and I'll start that again. I usually do my lace shawls, they're not actually lace shawl patterns, they're for thicker yarn, but with crochet it works out well. So I found the sweet spot for me, personally, is a 4mm hook, which my favourite is the anodized ones. A 4mm hook with the 2-ply lace yarn, and it makes really beautiful, like, cobwebby lace shawls. And I've made some like in white as a wedding shawl for a gift and different things like that over the years. So yeah, if you want to have a try, definitely give that a go. It looks beautiful, and it's honestly not very hard at all. It's no different to crocheting with thicker yarn. Yeah, so that was a disappointment, but anyway, maybe I'll participate next year now that I know about their knit-alongs. Maybe they'll be doing something that I can do with the appropriate yarn next year. One year they did a pillow, which would be all right. So anyway, so there we go. All frogged right before your eyes. Can I just say, my Knit Pro row counter, lifesaver. I'm going to put that in with my vest pattern. So that's that. So that's my knitting whips, and now we're going to get on to the fun stuff, acquisitions. So I recently saw oh gosh, I'm going to have to pull all this undone, okay? Otherwise we're going to have a towering collapse of all the crap on my desk. Everything's precariously sitting on top of each other. So I got this box for $6 at Kmart. And I bought this pattern at Spotlight online when I saw it was back in stock. Is Dimensions Victorian Charm House. I really, really love this. Look at the cute little cat there and one up in the window. But this made me think of, so my other Dimensions European Bistro. If you've ever read the Akatar series by Sarah J. Maas, the European Bistro reminds me of the city of Valaris, where they go to a cafe, and yeah, it's in the book. So I don't think of it as European, I think of that as Valaris. And I think of this as their townhouse in Valaris, where they all gather. It's like the family home for the gang. And I like to think of this as their townhouse from the book. So obviously they don't have a cat in the book, but anyway, I think that looks really cute. Can't wait to start this one. I wanted to start it straight away, but I was waiting for Whipgo to pull a new start number. And consequentially, I haven't even started the whip go for this week, even though it got pulled and I could have. I didn't bother digging out my projects, but these are the colours. Look at those beautiful pink and corals. Beautiful. So that's the colours. And this is the navy blue fabric, which is, I'd say, 14 count Aida. 8 by 17 inches, 18 count navy Aida. So yeah, so I've got it in this box because I've got so many whips, I've actually run out of bags, which says a lot considering I got some new bags recently off Rebecca at Christmas and I've already run out. Do I have a problem? Probably. Does it matter? I'm just going to say there's other people out there do the same, so I'm not going to worry. So that's what I got that I bought myself. And then we went to, the weekend before last, we went to Stanthorpe just before Sooty got sick. And so it was actually 3 weekends ago. We went to Stanthorpe again for the weekend with Paris this time as well. And I went to we went on a Friday. I took the Friday off work so that I could go to the Patchwork shop that's only open on weekdays. And I went to the Busy Bee quilt shop in Stanthorpe. And it's a lovely little shop. And I got some cute stuff. So I got some DMC to kit up for Autumn Angel that I want to stitch. Do I have that? Oh, what do I do with it? Oh, there it is. I'm dropping everything. So this one, Autumn Angel by Lavender and Lace, and I have the fabric. I had some thread, but what did I do? So all this DMC is for that one, so I'm going to put those together so I can start that when I get a new start call. Okay. That's creepy. I'm just sitting here and I haven't done anything there and there's these like spiders. Anyway, they must have fallen from above, from the aircon or something. Holy cow. Looks like they're dead. Welcome to Australia, people. I got these cute little, they were only cheap, little scraps of quilt fabric, which I thought would be great for finishing smalls. So this one has like a cabin house on it, and this one's just sort of, I think, looks like it's got a fence or something and flowers. And then I bought a fat quarter of red tractor. It's half a metre and it was $14.25. And this fabric is really cool. It's called Red Tractor and you can get it from the Busy Bee Patchwork. I'm sure you can get it from other places, but this is the first time I've seen it. And look, it's got all these iconic Australiana things. So it's got the homestead, cockatoo, Ned Kelly hiding behind a tree, your dog, like your kelpie, your boot, the coat of arms, some sheep, the water tank, barbecue, the rotary clothesline, you know, all the iconic Australian stuff, your Billy T, an Anzac. Yeah, so, and a merino sheep, and a pavlova, and some thongs. or flip-flops as some people say, depending where you're from. It's got the Flying Doctor, a boomerang, the Drover, and a koala in a yacht, and a magpie, and a bottle of wattle. So, and a horse, Melbourne Cup. So definitely look for red, oh, you won't be able to see there, Red Tractor Australia. Yeah, so that was cute. So I got that. I'll get that on later. And then I bought 2 of these, and they're different colours. I'm going to keep the pink one, I think. And the other one I'm going to save to put in my gift for the cross-stitch small at the retreat. I'm going to add this to it. It's a little pincushion English paper piecing kit. Isn't it cute? It's not those exact colours, but it's using Liberty fabric. So it's got this pretty fabric here, and then comes with all the instructions and your little piece, your little templates. So all you got to do is get some glue and add it. It's the Be Happy Pin Cushion by Lilybell Lane Creations by Sharon Burgess, and it was $16.50, and it come with all the fabric. So all you got to do is get one of those little glue sticks for English paper piecing, or if you don't want to do that, you could just literally hand tack it on with thread, and you can make a cute little pin cushion. So the one I got I got 2. So one's blue fabric and one's pink. I don't know which one. I think the pink, but then I like the blue. So yeah, so anyway, one of these will be for whoever gets my small. So that's what I bought there, and that's basically it that I have to share. So just Sooty update. After we came, so Sooty ate some, as well as Paris, but obviously it affected Sooty maybe. I don't know exactly what caused it, but we did suspect maybe it was the duck poo Sooty ate at Stanthorpe on the water's edge. She snaffled it before we could stop her, but so did Paris. But Sooty has a sensitive tummy. But then on the Wednesday afternoon, I'm sitting there in the lounge room, and next thing I hear this fluttering, and Paris has come in the lounge room with a brush turkey in her mouth. And I'm telling you, a brush turkey is bigger than Paris. Like, it's huge. They're big like turkey birds. Like, she has it, and it's got all its feathers torn out, the poor thing. And I suspect there was a Kelpie dog up the back that was running loose on the other side of the fence. I suspect it might have got the bird first. Then the bird's been injured and come into our yard, because it normally hangs out in our front yard. And Paris has taken the opportunity and gone, wee, I can grab this. So she's brought it inside, and the poor thing passed away just as I got to it from the shock and trauma. So I thought it had passed out, but I wasn't sure. Anyway, Sooty tried to take its feathers, rip its feathers out. Anyway, I stopped her. And whether it was something on the bird, but I don't think so, because it would have had to have more time to incubate. So anyway, I picked the bird up and put it in an archive box and took it to the hospital, the veterinary hospital, and they established that it had passed away, sadly. So there was nothing they could do, so they just took it away. And anyway, I come home. Then later that night, go to bed, and at 10:30, Sooty wakes me up, wants to go out urgently, and she has the trots, and I'm talking the bad trots. And then it happened 2 more times, and finally at 2:30 in the morning, I said to Wayne, I'm taking her to the hospital. She's not getting any better, like, this is bad. So I took her at 2:30 in the morning to the veterinary hospital a few suburbs away, and anyway, they said, oh, she'll be fine. It's just the trots, like, it's okay. She should be okay. So we came home, and I left her out in the lounge room, her and Paris. I thought I'll just leave them out in the lounge room to sleep on their beds, and I shut the bedroom door, and I set the alarm for an hour because I thought she'll probably need to go again in an hour because she's been going every hour and a half. So I'll be cautious and get up within an hour and let her out to go to the toilet. Close to that hour, I heard that out on the other side of the door. Thank God we have, sorry if you grossed out. Yeah, so she threw up, and then I went out, and it was like a horror movie. I'm not going to go into detail, but she had the trots and was throwing up, and it was in the house. Anyway, so then cleaning that up, and then I'm dry reaching over the back balcony in the middle of the night going, I didn't throw up, but I was feeling like I needed to. Anyway, poor Sooty's sitting in the corner looking sad, and I was really, really concerned for her. But by this time, it was like 5:30 in the morning by the time we finished cleaning up. So the vet opened at 8. So I thought, rather than take her back to the hospital where they don't really know her, I'll ring up as soon as 8 o'clock hits and take her to her normal vet. So rang them, took her, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to err on the side of caution. We're going to keep her in. And next thing, he took her temperature and there was blood on the thermometer. And then next thing, just blood everywhere. She just bled everywhere from her bowels. So that was really scary. So, yeah, she had to go on a drip overnight. We went to see her in the afternoon. We had a visiting hour with her in the afternoon. And it broke our hearts as we left. She's not used to, she's never been away from us overnight. And as we left, we heard, oh, it was the most pathetic thing. It broke my heart. Just set her off. And so anyway, so she was there till the next day in the afternoon, and then she'd improved enough that she could come home. So the poor thing. Then we thought she'd got over that. And then on the weekend, well, Friday, she looked like she'd previously had a cyst burst on her bottom eyelid. No major deal. And it looked like that had happened again because she had a bit of yuckiness on her eyelashes. But she wouldn't let me touch it. So I thought I'll give her a day or two, and then over the weekend I'll just give her a wash. No. It got worse on Sunday. When I got home at lunchtime, it got worse. So I had my lunch, and then I drove her over to the hospital, and she's got an infection in both her eyes. The right eye was all swollen, nearly swollen shut, and they had to put numbing eye drops, in. And yeah, so anyway, they've given me some cream. I've got to put that in her eye, and then I've got to put a hot compress on her eye every morning forever and ever. But for the next few days, she's got to have a medicated cream in her eye 3 times a day. And then if it doesn't improve Wednesday, we've got to take her to the vet. So fingers crossed. So that was the drama yesterday. So anyway, please pray for Sooty that she doesn't get sick again. And I just realised where those dead spiders come from. I never moved my curtain. And I've never seen spiders in here. But maybe they've come through the window and they've been hiding up in the curtain, and that's when I've moved it and they've got disturbed. Ooh, creepy. I have to vacuum the curtain. All right. I'm going now. You have a good week, good fortnight, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.